Hi Vietnam, welcome to the third episode of Eli's new series, Improving Your Communication Skills in 1 month. This is the first series we've done that focuses in teaching communication. The goal is, after 1 month, you will be able to confidently communicate with foreigners in casual situations. To do this, there's just 2 things. Number 1, you have to do all the homework at the end of each lesson. And number 2, make sure you subscribe to the Eli channel so you get keys to the homework and finishing it, and you get notifications about each new lesson. The topic of the last episode, in case you missed it, was jobs. What do you do, etc. So if you didn't watch that, go back and watch it, and then come back here for episode 3. The topic is hobbies and habits. Let's hit it.
Ngoài chủ đề này, chương trình học của Eli Online còn có rất nhiều chủ đề giao tiếp cực kỳ hữu ích với bài giảng chi tiết và bài tập thực hành dưới dạng game cực kỳ thú vị sẽ giúp bạn củng cố từ vựng, ngữ pháp và giao tiếp của mình. Các bạn có thể tham khảo khóa học toàn diện dành cho người mất gốc của Eli Online dưới đây nhé.
Hey Ben, I brought you a notebook.
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I'm really not into writing.
Oh, I thought you were. So, what are your hobbies?
Well, I prefer playing games. I love playing FIFA.
How surprising. So, how often do you play it?
Usually 3 times a week. What do you do in your free time?
I really like reading. I'm a total bookworm.
Have you read Harry Potter?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it.
A big part of getting to know someone is finding out what they like to do when they don't have to go to school or work. So we can talk about hobbies. One thing you can say is, what are your hobbies? Repeat after me. All right, louder, louder. One more time. What are your hobbies? Okay. Another way to say the same exact thing is, how do you spend your free time? Okay, say it again. Good. Okay, one more time. How do you spend your free time? Or another version of this is, what do you do in your free time? Oh, you guys are good. You're figuring it out. Now remember, this is casual conversation. This is just small talk. So there's casual structures we can use besides I like blah, 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 or I love blah, blah, blah. Something you could say is this, I'm into, all right? If you really like Harry Potter, the books and the movies, you could say, I'm into Harry Potter, or we can put a verb in there. I'm into reading Harry Potter. I'm into watching Harry Potter, okay? Something else you can say is, I'm a big fan of, all right? For example, my favorite football team, American football, is the Patriots. So I can say, I'm a big fan of the Patriots, or I'm a big fan of watching the Patriots. So those are just a few things you can say. So you might say something like, I'm into watching TV, which is fine, the grammar is okay, but it's not very interesting. Give us more information, more specific information. What kind of TV series do you like to watch? For example, I really like the TV series Sherlock. So I would say, I'm really into Sherlock, or I'm a big fan of watching Sherlock. Okay, but there's many, many kinds of series out there. Maybe you like comedies, things that make you laugh. So you could say, oh, I'm a big fan of watching The Big Bang Theory, or I'm really into watching How I Met Your Mother. At least I am. Also, instead of saying, I like listening to music, you should say something else. Tell me what genre, that means what kind of music you really like. Me, I really like hip-hop. I know it doesn't look like it, but I do. So I could say, I'm really into listening to hip-hop music. I like Kanye West. Or maybe you're into pop music. I'm a big fan of listening to pop music. I like Charlie Puth. Okay? Now there's others, many of my friends, they're American, but they like to listen to K-pop. So they'll tell me something like, oh, I'm a big fan of listening to K-pop. I like G-Dragon. Some people in this world are really into reading books. But of course you can't just say that. You have to give more specific information about the genre, okay? So if you're really into reading thrillers, of course, as you probably guessed, you would say, I'm really into reading thrillers. Or if you're into romance, you would say, I'm a big fan of romance novels. Now, thrillers and romance are 2 genres that are fiction. What is fiction? Do you know? Okay. What is the opposite of fiction? That's right, nonfiction. Some people really like nonfiction books, books about history or whatever. Me, I really like history, so I would say I'm a big fan of reading history books. Okay? When I was a kid, I used to read comic books, Batman, Superman, all that stuff. And I know some of you, when you're grown up, you still read those. Okay? So what you say is, I'm a big fan of reading comic books. Now, if you're an active person, if you like to stay fit, you can use this structure to describe what sports you like to do. Maybe you like to play basketball. So you take that and put it into the structure. Playing basketball, playing football, playing badminton, playing volleyball. Some of you like to go for bike rides, going biking, going swimming. If you like walking, I'm really into going for a walk. Okay? Or maybe you're flexible, so you can say, I like doing yoga, I like doing gymnastics. Me, I like to go to the gym, so I can say I'm really into working out. For social activities, here are some phrases that we use. Hanging out with friends, relaxing with family, going to the cafe. Now, you might be a creative person, so some words we use to express what you do would be taking photos, traveling, writing, and painting. Now, you want to keep the conversation going. You want to ask them how often they do something. So, very easy. The way we do that is, how often do you, and then put the verb. So, how often do you go swimming? How often do you paint? How often do you draw? How often do you watch Sherlock? When you're answering this question, there are adverbs of frequency, which we can use to explain exactly how often we do something. And here's a list of them. We have always, usually, normally, sometimes, often, rarely, and never. I think I got them all. I hope so. Now, if you don't want to use adverbs of frequency and you want to be more specific, we have some words for you. Once, twice, or you can say 3 times. Or if you do it really often, every. For example, I could say, I clean my room once a year. Or I go swimming 3 times a week. Or I eat at McDonald's every day.
Bây giờ thì các bạn hãy áp dụng phương pháp shadowing, nghe thật kỹ và nhắc lại các lời thoại của các nhân vật trong đoạn hội thoại vừa rồi nhé.
Hey Ben, I brought you a notebook.
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I'm really not into writing.
Oh, I thought you were. So, what are your hobbies?
Well, I prefer playing games. I love playing FIFA.
How surprising. So, how often do you play it?
Usually 3 times a week. What do you do in your free time?
I really like reading. I'm a total bookworm.
Have you read Harry Potter?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it.
Now, to keep the conversation going, to avoid awkward silences, it's a good idea to ask some follow-up questions. Here's an example. You can ask someone how long they have liked doing something. And the way to express that would be very casually, how long have you been into blah, blah, blah. For example, how long have you been into swimming? You're asking them, when did you start swimming? When did you get an interest in swimming? Or how long have you been into reading romantic novels? When did you start? So those are just a few examples. Now let's practice the answers. If somebody asks me, hey, how long have you been into listening to hip-hop music? I'll tell them, I've been into hip-hop for about 10 years. But you don't really need to say that many words. To keep it simple, as part of a casual conversation, you can just say how long. So I could say 10 years. Just tell them how long. Or how long have you been into reading romance novels? About 6 months. Now we're going to keep asking them questions. So maybe you want to know who they do a certain hobby with. For example, who do you go swimming with? They might tell you, oh, I go swimming with my brother. Or who do you watch Game of Thrones with? Okay, I watch Game of Thrones with my family. And if you're really curious, you can ask them where they do something in case you want to follow them. All right, so for example, I could say, where do you go swimming? Or where do you like to ride your bike? Or where do you like to go fishing? Question time. Go ahead.
Hey, where do you like to ride your bike?
I like to ride my bike around One Lake many times. Now maybe you're really curious about this person. You want some more information. So you ask them why they like a certain thing, why they like doing a certain thing. So, why do you like reading fiction books? Or why do you like playing basketball? What? Question time again. Hi, Hua.
Why do you like reading novels?
I like reading them because they're really relaxing.
So why do you like doing gymnastics?
I like doing gymnastics because it keeps me fit and healthy.
Bạn là người mất gốc tiếng Anh và đang tìm kiếm giải pháp cho bản thân. Hãy tham gia ngay chương trình học tiếng Anh toàn diện của Elite như dưới đây nhé! Ngoài các video bài giảng hàng ngày trên kênh YouTube của Elite Learning English, các khóa học online của Elite cũng cung cấp vô số bài tập luyện tập và bạn có thể học được ở bất cứ nơi đâu. Ngoài ra, khóa học trực tiếp với giảng viên 1-1 cũng là giải pháp cực kỳ hữu ích đối với các bạn. Chúc các bạn sẽ thành công với hệ sinh thái tiếng Anh toàn diện của Elite Online nhé!
Can you tell us about your hobbies?
I'm a big fan of taking photos. I often go around the city once a week to take beautiful photos. And I've been doing it for almost 3 years since I was in the university. I love to do it with my brother. He's also into it. And we all love taking photos because it's so creative. And it helps us to keep memorable moments in our lives. Hello, what are your hobbies?
Hi, I'm really into watching comedy show, which is How I Met Your Mother. Have you watched it?
Cool. So, how often do you watch How I Met Your Mother?
I watch it every day during my dinner.
How long have you been watching this?
3 months, I think.
Who do you like to watch this with?
I'd like to watch it with my sister. She is into it too.
Where do you usually watch this?
Sometimes I watch it at my house, but sometimes I can watch it at my office.
Okay, last question. Why do you like it?
It's really funny and the character is really creative and dynamic, you know, and it makes me to burst into laughter every time I watch it.
Như thường lệ, chúng ta hãy trả lời 3 câu hỏi dưới đây và comment xuống phía dưới để được các giảng viên của Elite chữa bài cho từng bạn một nhé. Tuần sau chúng ta sẽ được luyện giao tiếp tiếng Anh với cô nàng Gumi Quái Chiêu với một chủ đề bí mật. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn trong video tuần sau nhé!